wait for five more minutes. Audible my voice?
Yes. Yes, yes. Hi, sir. We will wait for
Okay.
5 more minutes, inshallah. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And for your information, we are already now on the YouTube live. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Sorry. Okay. Good evening, one and all. Myself, Dr. G. Venkar Subbareddy, Associate Professor of Tribal Department, G. Polarity Engineering College, Kurnool, and co-convener of this workshop. It gives me a great pleasure
to welcome all the participants to the day 4 of this 1 week international level workshop on opportunities and challenges in IT sector during 6th to 11th March 2023, organized by Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering and in association with Department of Emerging Technologies in Computer Science and Microcare Academy, Kurnool. Dear participants, today's topic is AWS Cloud Computing. Now, I take a privilege to introduce today's speaker, Mr. S. Abdul Khadar Jalil. He obtained his BTech and MTech degrees from JNTU Anantapur. He is presently working as Cloud Operations Engineer at Checkmarks. He has overall 8 plus years experience in IT industry. Now I request today's speaker, Mr. S. Abdul Qadir Jalil, to start the session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, sir. Please.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. So it's a proud moment for me to host this event and to deliver few of the challenges and the future computing, what exactly AWS Cloud is all about. So I would like and I would thank Microcare Academy as well as Pullarity College of Engineering, Tripoli Department, and all the conveners and co-conveners. Thank you for this opportunity. Okay, people. So, good evening, everyone. Even for the participants who have came up to know regarding this cloud computing. Okay, so let's get started. So today we are going to discuss regarding this cloud computing, what exactly cloud computing is, and what these cloud computing had done to the complete IT industry or the software industry. Okay, so myself, like as sir have introduced, I myself am a cloud engineer in one of the big MNC based on Israel. Okay, so I've been working on this technology from past 4 to 5 years. So now I am a full-fledged cloud engineer actually. Okay, guys. So before moving on, so just I want to give. So this is going to be our agenda of today's session. So this is the walkthrough of what we are going to discuss in today's session. Okay, so very first thing we are going to discuss exactly cloud computing falls on which part of software industry. Actually, there are so many departments which are working in the software industry. So cloud computing had brought the changes in which department. Okay, so for that we should know the background. So very first we are going to discuss how the evolution of actually the IT infrastructure. I mean, before cloud was there in the market, what was there and what were the challenges for that particular traditional data centers, and how the cloud have given the solution to that. After that we would try to understand what exactly cloud computing and how it have changed and how many solutions it have given to the market, due to which the big companies they are migrating, no one are interested to set up their own data centers. Everyone want to keep their infrastructure in the cloud itself. Okay, so most of the companies, startups, everything. Okay, we will discuss this in detail. After that I would like to explain that why we have to learn cloud and who are the people who have to learn this cloud technology. And at the after this explanation we would like to do little bit hands on. Okay, so that we will be hosting a one small application, and I would like to walk you through the console of AWS cloud. Okay, so there are so many cloud technologies already present in the market, but in specific, today we are going to see the AWS console as well. Okay, so now let's get started. So guys, actually cloud computing is nothing but it is a company which is giving infrastructure as a service. Okay, so usually guys, I mean, the basic knowledge and what we feel that what exactly software companies are doing. So you might be there in the previous sessions where you might have heard regarding data science, machine learning, AI, and the most probably software means in our mind what will come. We in our mind, I mean, software companies are the companies which are building websites, applications. Okay, so we are directly or indirectly, we are directly connected with this technology nowadays. Okay, so without any application, without, I mean, our mobile which we are using daily basis, so in our mobile we have hundreds of applications which we are using. Literally one application is one company. Okay, so in that particular company there are developers who are developing that application, front end, back end. Okay, and they are managing the databases. There are UI UX designers. Okay, so this is the development part. Okay, but this is the part that doesn't come into the cloud actually, but there are the tools which the developers can use actually. Okay, so after that application is been built by the developers. After building, if that application or the website, it should be available for all the customers. How it will be available? It will be available in the internet world after it is hosted on a server. So you might have heard this phrase server, that when you are not able to access any website, when you are even booking one Tatkal ticket at that most of the time, or when you are booking a mobile on like flash sales. So at that time what happens? Huge traffic comes to the server. I mean, server is the place where we will be hosting the application which is being developed by the developers. Okay, so this is the main part. I mean, these managing these servers. Okay, so one website after a developer develops, if it need to be, if it need to become live, so it need to be hosted on a, okay, it need to be hosted onto a server. Okay, so usually what happens when cloud was not there in the market, so this usually we had traditional data centers. Like every big company used to have their own traditional data centers where they used to set up physically a server. Okay, so server is nothing but, guys, a normal PC which you and I am using in our daily life. Okay, so guys, usually you are able to see my screen, right? Okay. So this is the physical server, guys. What you are seeing on the left side. So usually, I mean, before what happens when cloud technology was not there, so every company started with this. So for example, there is a big company like you, I mean, we are using Flipkart, Amazon, or whatever the big applications are there, which are having a huge user base. Okay, so huge user base we do have. So if you have huge user base, you want hundreds of servers to manage that lots of traffic. I mean, if you want to handle lakhs of people, you require literally one separate data center in which you will be having thousands of servers. Okay, so if thousands of servers are there, so you require a separate cooling system. You want separate electric power system. Your servers should not go down. If a server goes down, then your website is not available for the customer. So this is not at all, I mean, in the market, people will not accept this. Okay, so usually we should have these physical servers, so which used to take so much of time. So at least, I mean, you might have set up your laptop itself. So how much time it takes to, what I say, install one operating system on your general PC itself? It takes at least 1 hour, 1.5 hour of time. Whereas if it is a server, you need to install the OS, you need to install what I say application container. On top of that, you will be installing your application. So it is a lot more time. Okay, so it is not easy for the people who are handling data centers. So to fulfill this, market came up with one technology that is known as virtualization. So what is virtualization? So here, as I said, usually for a physical server to set up, it used to take 3 to 4 hours. Whereas after the virtualization technology came into the market, you can set up a server in just 3 or 4 minutes, due to which your what I say infrastructure will be achieving the scalability, high availability, and elasticity features. So these are the features which are required. For example, I have 1,000 people of traffic who are accessing my web page. All of the sudden, 10,000 people came onto my website. So if it was a traditional data center, on that instance I can't add 10 or 12 servers extra. It is not possible for me. But whereas in virtualization, that I can do it, because I have a time of just 4 minutes to 5 minutes to just launch one new server, new application server, or new database server. So once the technology of virtualization came into the market, most of the companies, they migrated to virtualization. They used to purchase big servers on a single server. You can see here. So they used to run one hypervisor. On top of that, they can host multiple servers actually. Okay. So due to which you will be easily able to what I say, you will be able to fulfill that requirement of 10,000 people to 1 lakh people accessing your application at a time. So once this virtualization technology also came into the market, still these all servers were in the companies itself. Okay. So, but managing a data center, it was a very big challenge. You have two things. One is what we have to initially keep huge number of capital. So initially, for example, companies nowadays, the complete period is of startup companies. So we have huge startup culture. So when a company came up with one application, I mean, for example, Flipkart or any application, I mean, any company is there which is a startup, so they should raise funds. So for example, they have an application and they don't know exactly that their business will run or not. Okay. So what will happen, for example, they are targeting that 1 lakh people have to come on my application. So they have to plan in such a way that they should purchase a big land or lease a big land for a data center, and they have to build a data center, and they have to purchase some thousands of dollars. So initial upfront, they have to purchase huge infrastructure. So they will be spending very thousands of dollars on just purchasing and just setting up the data center. Once it is set up, they want engineers to host that application, and they want operations team to operate all the data centers. So there will be upfront payment of some thousands of dollars, and there will be at least they require 100 to 150 employees, separate employees for development, separate employees for database management, separate employees to manage the storage, separate employees just to monitor the data center, network engineers. Okay. And they require what I said, knock engineers, who will be monitoring the data centers and servers 24 into 7. So itself this itself will it cost them huge operational cost. Okay. So there, this was the biggest challenge for the companies, because a startup is starting with one idea, but if that idea doesn't work, what will happen to these thousands of dollars which they have spent to purchase the land, to set up the data center, and to maintain the data center? So in this scenario, so cloud came into the market. So after virtualization, okay, so the next technology which emerged is nothing but containerization as well as cloud. Okay. So cloud is the biggest player. I mean, actually, Netflix is one of the biggest company which was first trying to understand this. Actually, Netflix, it started the company with a small data center, but there were so many challenges for them because their user base was growing drastically. They were not able to manage that number of servers. They were not able to scale them that effectively. So at that time, actually, AWS actually approached Netflix saying that so we are technically sound in this managing data centers, and they were pro in all this virtualization technology, managing of data centers and all. So Netflix was the first customer of AWS, and here in 2007 somewhere, so Netflix was the first customer of AWS. AWS was into the market already, but not as an web Amazon Web Services. It was an e-commerce site what we are using still date. So it was only an e-commerce site. So they had a good technical team. So what they did, so they had taken that project of Netflix saying that was you need not to fear of infrastructure. You focus on your business, you focus on getting the customer base, you focus on creating the content. I mean the content what you are streaming on your Netflix platform, you concentrate on business. We will handle all these backend infrastructure. Okay, and apart from that, there are so many advantages, so which I am going to discuss step by step in my next actually next slides. So this is how the cloud came into the market. So cloud is nothing but it is someone's data center. Actually it doesn't mean that cloud is somewhere in the satellites or somewhere in the sky. So actually cloud symbol is used for a remote location in networking world. Okay, cloud symbol, usually we use this cloud symbol in the networking world to represent a remote location. So the data centers which we are accessing, or the servers on which we are hosting our applications, that are somewhere in a remote location. So that means that, so cloud means the remote locations. Okay, so guys, as I said, just I was discussing the same thing. So before, what was there? There were only physical data centers. So as I said, these were the challenges. So you require the space, you require the staff, you require the physical security, and you have to plan everything. Okay, so for example, Flipkart will be planning for this big billion days or Indian Great Festival. So at that time, what will happen? The number of users accessing AWS will be very high. Okay, let us assume this thing was there on premises, like what I say, Amazon or any Flipkart, if it is handling its own data center. A small example, I mean let's try to understand this. So there are few, like normally 1 lakh people are accessing Flipkart application per day. Okay, so to handle 1 lakh requests in a day, it requires from 1,000 servers to handle 1 lakh people's traffic. Well and good, but when it is big billion day, or when it is big billion, I mean what to say, big billion days or any festive season, so in that 3 days, all of the sudden the people who will be accessing this Flipkart application, it will rise from 1 lakh to 10 lakhs or much more than that. So now tell me what is the solution. Now 1,000 servers were able to handle 1 lakh requests. Now just in a year for 3 days, or you can think of couple of what I say offers, like in January you have Republic Day offer. Okay, in complete year you might be having roughly 12 or 14 days. If you add up all the festive seasons, you will be having only 14 days of, I mean, a huge traffic coming onto the Flipkart or Amazon application. So from 1 lakh people to 10 lakh people, so is it good that for just 14 days I have 1,000 servers already there on my data center? To fulfill 10 lakhs means I require how many? 1,000 into 10 means I want still 9,000 servers to be purchased, and I want the space to keep that 9,000 servers. and I require staff, physical security. I need to plan for that. I want capital expenditure, capital investment. Okay, so is it good, and is it a good practice that for 14 days I will be spending this much of money for that? So if it was a physical data center, I have to do it. If I don't have physical data center, like if Flipkart was running on a physical data center, Flipkart might not at all came with that offer at all. Because if you are offering something, you should be capable enough to handle that number of customers. If you are not able to handle that that huge number of customers, so there is no point of keeping the offer. At the offer time, all the people will try to access your application, and your application will be just crashed. Okay, there is no use. Okay, so these are the challenges that were there in data center. Okay, now, so all these whatever problems were there in the market, okay, so all these problems are addressed by cloud computing actually. Okay, so because, so usually what exactly cloud computing is? So now cloud computing came into the market. These were the all challenges that are faced by not only Netflix. There were hundreds of companies who were facing this problem. That was, we have good idea, we have good business, people are ready to pay, but we are not able to handle the infrastructure. Our developers have developed marvelous features, they have designed the application in awesome way, but to deliver this application to the clients, we should require a good and huge infrastructure which we don't have. If even we have, we can't afford it for just 14 days of a complete year. So that is why the business was directly affecting, and the sales teams were not able to plan any offers. Because for the sales team, what was pinching them, that was, we will plan a offer, but how can we handle these lakhs of customers if they are coming on our application? Do we have all this stuff? So addressing, I mean, these were the pains of all the companies at that time in 2007 actually. Okay, so all these companies were in this pain. At that time, AWS came up. Okay, and AWS said that, boss, we are the Amazon Web Services, we will provide you infrastructure on rent. Means you need not to keep data center at all at your office. You just focus on development. Like if you want to develop your own application with your development team, you can do it. Okay, and you can focus on marketing, you can focus on sales, you can focus on the strategies of business and all. Okay, and the headache of what you have of managing a big huge data center. Okay, upfront payments, investing thousands of dollars upfront. Okay, after that, keeping 100 or 150 employees and paying for them monthly. Okay, so usually the salaries of them, so the salaries of the employees of 150 people who are managing data center itself, it costs a lot for the company. So these were the all pains what the market was feeling. So in this area, cloud came and they pitched that you remove all these tensions. We will manage the infrastructure from our side. You just focus on your business. So here is the just the definition of cloud computing, guys. So usually what these guys used to do on their data center, now all that, I mean, hosting the application, okay, databases and all the IT resources, they will be managing their, and they will be deploying their applications on the cloud platforms, okay, through via internet. And they will be paying, I mean, how much they will be using, they will be paying the same. Okay, so usually cloud computing means all the compute activities what we were doing usually on our traditional data centers, we will be doing all these activities, all that computing on cloud now. Cloud in the sense the data center of AWS. Okay, so now the migration actually happened. So by seeing these advantages, so most of the companies started moving. Okay. So I mean, in short, I want to elaborate and I want to show you the differences. What if you have your complete IT infrastructure? IT infrastructure means, guys, so your servers, the data what company have, the complete storage, everything, it was usually in the office itself. But now we will be keeping all these huge servers in the data center of AWS, that is known as cloud. So what are the major differences? So these are the key differences, if you can see in this slide. So here you have no upfront investment in the cloud. So usually, just now I have explained you, so if a company wants to do this, so they need to invest some thousands or lakhs of dollars to just to set up a data center. Now your straight away money is saved. You need not to purchase a single server if you want to host your applications on the cloud. Okay, you need not to pay a single penny for that, because all the servers which are already available on AWS environment you will be renting, so there will be no upfront payment. After that, you will be having,
उनके पास नहीं है
before you had 100 to 150 employees, now you don't require 100 to 150 employees on the cloud. Okay, you need not to pay a so, and whatever that operational costs were there, so all that operations cost 100 to 150 employees, you need not to pay for them. You now you just require some 10 to 14 employees to just manage your AWS console. The guys who know the AWS cloud technology, I mean, in the place of 100 to 150 employees, you require only 10 to 14 employees. Okay. Now you can focus on your innovations. You can flexibly your capacity, and you have speed and you have agile. Okay. So these are the major advantages. So whereas, as I have said already, so on premises, you have to spend on everything: system administration, fixed capacity, okay, limited geographical locations. So now, so these are the six major advantages on which I want to just take you through slowly. So what are they? So these are the six advantages, guys. So one is trade capital expenses for variable expenses. So this is what I was talking about. So what does it mean? It means that, as I said, if you want to have your own data center, so you should have very first a huge capital to set up everything. So now you have chosen the cloud, so you don't require it. Okay, so now you need to just pay for the servers what you are using. Okay, so all that operational costs are get rid of that. You don't want place, you don't pay that huge electric bills, you don't want that big AC systems to manage your data center, you don't require that 100 to 150 employees to manage your data center. Everything is replaced with the cloud. So now you have only variable expenses, that too you will be paying monthly. Okay, you will be paying only the charges per month. So after that, you have benefit from massive economic scale. So what will happen actually? So AWS is purchasing big servers, as it has huge amount of AWS users. Okay, so if a guy is purchasing any item in the market in huge, what will happen? So you will get massive discounts actually. If you go to a market, and generally if you go to a market and you purchase any one entity for one piece, so it will be very expensive actually. But if you purchase the same thing of 100 quantity or 200 quantity, so what will happen actually? So you will get that same thing at huge discount. So this is what AWS is playing with. So what AWS is doing, so it is purchasing huge infrastructure, and it has set up the data centers in complete world. Actually, till today, AWS have 31 regions. Okay, I will be just showing that also. So it have 31 regions in the sense in US, in Canada, in UK, in it have data centers in pan world. In our India itself, it have its footprint in Mumbai as well as in Hyderabad. So recently Hyderabad is also been added. Okay, so there are huge guys. Okay, they have a very so when they have these huge data centers, so they have got all the things on massive discounts. So what AWS is doing, it is forwarding that discounts to its customers also. If you are committing with them, so they will give huge discounts for you even when you are renting this, what I say, infrastructure. So now another big challenge what the market was facing is, so guys, it is very hard for us to guess that how many servers should I maintain, what will happen if all of the sudden more traffic is coming, or what will happen if all of the sudden the traffic on the website is getting reduced. Okay, so it is a, I mean, you need to I mean, the calculating the number of servers and setting up it in a database or in a data center, it's very hard. So due to this cloud technology, so you need not to plan anything. Actually, in cloud, they have implemented technologies like you have load balancers, okay, and you have auto scaling groups. So these are the new technologies what AWS have came up. Okay, so automatically the load balancer will sense the network. Okay, and the auto scaling group is the technology what AWS have inside. It will automatically scale out the servers depending upon the number of requests that are coming onto the website. And if there is no traffic, it automatically reduces the servers. I mean, 10 servers are running, so there is no traffic at all, automatically it will reduce its servers to minimum what you have decided, like 4 servers. So that, guys, due to this technology, what will happen, so this scalability, this elasticity, this thing you can't achieve on a traditional data center. But whereas in the cloud, so you can implement these technologies due to which you need not to bother about guessing that was when traffic will come, when the traffic will not come. So you need not to guess. I mean, this headache is gone from your head. You just implement this load balancing, you implement the auto scaling group, automatically depending upon the traffic, it, I mean, the number of servers will be keep on added, and if the traffic is not there, it will scale in. I mean, it will remove the servers, and after removing the servers, obviously will be not paying for the servers which are being stopped. Okay, so you need not to plan for the capacity. So this is the another biggest advantage in the cloud. Okay, so guys, actually, like you have gone through on our day one session regarding this data science, AI, machine learning. Okay, so these are the latest technologies. So you have spent 1 hour of time understanding, I mean, how the people are, I mean, gathering the huge data, and they are running huge algorithms to bring up one proper solutions. Okay, so the artificial intelligence, they are running so many modules. So there is very tons of data that is being generated in the internet world today. So tell me, so if anyone wants to do some machine learning, I mean, someone wants to run some machine learning algorithm on a big huge data, okay, I mean, petabytes of data. So for example, if you want to do this with your own server, so you should have a very big server with huge CPU and high amount of RAM, because you can't do analysis of huge petabytes of data using a small server with small number of CPUs, with small number of RAM. You can't do this, but you require a very huge capacity server. Obviously, if you want to purchase a huge big server with more number of CPU, more number of RAM, it will cost you a lot. Okay, but whereas in cloud they have huge capacity of servers. We usually call servers as instances in AWS. Okay, so here you can see this is the biggest instance largest instance or the server which is available on AWS. So guys, you have 128 virtual CPUs. Usually you might be using i7 processor, the biggest processor for the laptops. Okay, so that i7 processor have only 8 cores. How many cores? 8. But whereas the biggest server on AWS, if you want to launch, and guys, you can just rent it. For example, if you want to gather some data, if you want to purchase the same server of this much big, and guys, you can see the RAM in your mobiles. You might be having a RAM size of like not 32 GB, 8 GB or 16 GB or 32 GB, and your PCs might be having 8 GB or 12 GB. That's it. But you can see here the RAM size of this server is 2 TB, 190. I mean 1952 GB in the sense you have RAM size 2 TB means it will be very huge. And guys, this like I mean you require this much big instances or this much big servers to run that machine learning AI algorithms, because the data rendering can be happened over this only. Even there are so many mechanical softwares like Hypermesh where they will be doing what I say designing and all. So that are the huge graphical what I say graphical softwares which requires huge capacity. Okay, so on premises it's very hard. So for example, every company is moving for AI, every company is moving for machine learning, but the thing is that companies will be running their models just to get the inputs. Once they get the inputs, they don't require that much big server. Then what they will be doing with it? In the same way, if they opt cloud, see, you can see here. So how much they are costing? They are just costing $4 per hour. So guys, it's very cheap. I mean, you can rent it for 1 month so that your R&D team can work on that. Once the R&D team is done with that, you can just give it back to the AWS. So you are paying very less. Whereas if you want to buy that, it will cost you, I mean, in crores actually. It will cost you in crores. So this is one of the biggest advantage again. So after that, as I said, with cloud, if you are hosting all these servers on the cloud, so you will be having massive speed and massive agility. So due to which your applications, because actually a few years before on the websites, we didn't had even applications actually. Once the iPhone 4 came into the market, from there actually this technology of apps came into the market, or else we had only browsers. We every guy used to have one website. We used to use website first. So on that website the updates used to come for every 6 months actually, every 6 months or 1 year. So for every 6 months or 1 year they used to change the website. Okay, but after that what came? Applications came. In applications again, nowadays actually everything is microservices. Okay, so the market have completely moved. Now you have daily updates. Okay, so the big companies, because the business is demanding it actually. Okay, so that is not possible with your traditional servers. Okay, so you want that containerization technologies to run these microservices and to change your application drastically on daily basis or weekly basis. Might be, I mean, you in your mobile itself you might be doing these updates on weekly basis. So if you want to do that, you require this speed and agility, guys. Okay, that it is possible with cloud only. So now you are going to spend very smartly, because you are going to rent, I mean, due to these advantages and all. So you will be focused on customers and you will not be spending much on an infrastructure. Now you can focus on development. You can focus on different aspects rather than spending your most of the time on these servers. Now coming to this, another big thing. So another biggest advantage of AWS is, guys, you can go global in minutes. For example, my company, for example, let us consider Wipro was a company which was Indian based company. So Wipro have a customer base in India. Now what happened? So Wipro became a MNC. they want to make their applications or websites available for the people who are in US. So now they got a user base in US as well. But Wipro have its data centers in India. If you host your application in India and customers are accessing from US, so there will be a problem of latency. Latency means they will not be able to access the websites or applications as speeder they want. I mean, there will be a huge lag. They will be having high latency. So if you want to achieve low latency, generally what you have to do, you have to send a team to US. You have to purchase some place over there. You have to set up your data center. There you have to host your application in US itself. Okay. So, but once the cloud came into the market, as I said, AWS have the data centers in complete world. So without going to the US, without going into UK, without going to Australia, Japan, or in the Middle East or into the African countries. So in sitting India itself, so this is the complete map of AWS. Actually, this is the old one. Now AWS have much more bigger connectivity than any other. Okay, so actually you have 31 regions, 31 countries. AWS is available. By sitting in the place where you are, you can deploy your applications, you can store your data, and you can manage your teams by sitting here itself, and you need not to set up your own infrastructure. Okay, so this is how, guys. So AWS is a huge, it have the biggest infrastructure in the complete world. So now I need not to fear, I need not to send my team to any another country to set up all this stuff. Already AWS infrastructure is already there. By sitting here itself, by switching the region in my console, I can do everything what I can do in India. So after that, so this is the biggest thing. Okay, by sitting here itself, we can go globally in within minutes. Just you launch the application, just you host it, and it is available for the people of different countries. This is not possible without cloud, because you can't set up a complete data center in another countries. You will be having so many, I mean, government legal problems. I mean, you need to take so many permissions. Okay, it's very heck, but you need not to think of it now. Just log in into AWS, create your account. You can now itself you can launch how much big servers you want, how much big application you want to host. You can do it. So that is the another biggest advantage of AWS. So guys, these are the different advantages. Okay, so these are the major 6 advantages. By seeing these 6 advantages, guys, literally the IT industry in the span of 10 years drastically moved from on premises to cloud. Okay, so on the cloud, what the companies can do, they can host their applications, they can back up their store, and they can storage their data, they can do their content delivery, they can host their websites. Whatever needs are there for big enterprises. Okay, you can manage your databases, you can run your algorithms, you can manage your artificial intelligence and machine learning. Even AWS have integrated Internet of Things also on AWS. You can even control the, I mean, if you satellite services are also there on AWS. Okay, so due to this n number of advantages, and AWS is the biggest player in the market. Okay, so it have a market share of $332 billion. So by seeing all these advantages, guys, so you have AWS have 33% market share. Okay, so still now AWS is providing this IT infrastructure with pay as you use model. So now, by now, AWS have 32 lakh 46,044 companies who are using this cloud platform to manage their IT infrastructure. So it means that the guy who have the knowledge of AWS cloud. So 32 lakh, I mean 3 million companies are ready to give job for them. And guys, actually AWS have lots of services. There are developer tools on AWS. There are testing tools on AWS. And obviously, the backbone, you have big servers. Usually, we call it as instance in AWS terminology. So, if anyone want to host, or if a big company want to store its data, so you have to manage storage, to manage databases. You have all these services in AWS. So AWS have 200 plus services present on that console. So the guys who want to do some analytics, the machine learning people, the AI people, the data science people, whatever the tools they are using, all tools are available on cloud. So it means that if any guy who want to make a career in IT industry, he want to exist in the software field. So cloud technology is like must. I mean, if you learn this technology, even though like if he is a developer, if he is a data center engineer, because usually he was a data center engineer before, but now data centers are been vanishing. I mean, no company is preferring to have a data center on their on-prem. Okay, so developers, data centers, okay, and DBA network. I mean, these are the job roles that are available on the cloud already, and these are the services, guys. So there are so many services like to manage compute, for networking, for storage, and database and all. So these are there are so many services. Actually, the enterprise, the companies want all these services. Okay, so now like there are 3 million already companies on the market who want cloud engineers who can understand this cloud technology, and they can work for them, and they can manage the company's infrastructure. Okay, so there is a huge demand, and these are the few job roles: cloud architect, cloud engineer, cloud security architect, cloud ops engineer, cloud sysops engineer, cloud developer. Okay, so these are the few of the certifications, as I said. So it starts with this cloud practitioner, and these certifications are the most valued certifications in the market. So if you have these certifications, the scope of getting a job in cloud will be much easier. Okay, and if these certifications have that value in the market, obviously it will be that hard. Okay, so it costs you $150 just to write an exam for one time. Okay, and you have to score more than 70% to clear this certification. So it is hard. Okay, it is costly. So that's why these certifications have the value. So if you learn this technology well, and if you clear these certifications, so you are obviously job ready, and companies are ready to give the job for you guys. Okay, so this is what. Okay, so I mean AWS cloud, it's everywhere, and it is going to stay in the market. And the biggest user, General Electric, this is a very famous company based in UK and US. So this company have all its IT infrastructure hosted in AWS itself. They themselves says that the biggest CTO, I mean the technical officer of General Electric, says that we are going to keep our infrastructure on AWS cloud for next 140 years. I mean, he is forecasting that cloud is going to be there in the market for next 1 decade easily. Okay, so this is how, guys. So this is what the cloud is all about. So if you guys have any doubts regarding
Yeah.
the explanation still now, so you can ask your questions.
Uh, Thank you, Abdul Khadar Jilan, for your
Yes,
nice
yes.
presentation on the AWS. Uh, I would request all the participants to raise the questions on the chat box on the YouTube live, so that we can able to answer those questions. Abdul Khadar Jeelani sir, there is one question called what kind of job roles available?
I mean, there are so many. It depends. Like if you are a developer already, I mean, if he is a fresher, you have a open platform. I mean, you can start your career as a solution architect, or if it is hard for you, so you can even what I say, start your career as a cloud operations engineer, where like the senior people will be managing the complete infrastructure for you, and just you need to manage that infrastructure. You need to monitor the servers, you need to spin up the EC2 instances depending upon the tickets that will be raised. So there are so many roles. Actually there are so many roles, like as I said, I mean, one slide just I have shown you. So there are cloud developers are there, solutions architect are there, security engineers are there. If you do certification in security, so you can crack your job into that security region. Or if you are good at tools, like you have monitoring tools of Nagios, Prometheus, okay, and you have Splunk. So these are the few of monitoring tools. If you learn laterally with cloud, with how to configure cloud with these monitoring tools, so you can land up into the operations role. There are so many. Actually there is a big scope. Two ways: if you are a developer, cloud will be an add-on for you, or if you want to make a full-fledged career in the cloud, there are multiple options. You can become a cloud engineer or cloud security engineer or cloud application engineer. Hope I have answered your question.
Yes, thanks. Someone is asking for apart from AWS, is there any other cloud network which is globally available?
Actually, you have three major. One is AWS. Its market share is 33%. The next, it comes Azure. After that, you have GCP, and even Oracle Cloud is also there. After that, you have IBM Cloud also. But IBM Cloud falls into hybrid cloud. So first starts with AWS. And the thing is, if you are able to understand one cloud technology, it will be easy for you, and you can easily understand the other cloud technologies as well. Depending upon the company, they might have terminologies different. That's it. Okay, rest and all the technology is same. These are the major 3-4 players. Azure is there, GCP, Google Cloud Platform is there, Oracle OCI is there. So these are the 3-4 major, but you have minor players also in your cloud space.
Yeah, thank you. And we are waiting for some more participants to raise their questions. Still, we have like 7 minutes left to ask the questions. So if anyone have any questions in your mind, please raise them. Thank you.
Thank you. That was a very informative session on the behalf of GPRSA Kernel and Microcare Academy. I thanks today's speaker and all participants. We will meet with one more session on web development on 10th March, that is Friday evening, 7 p.m. sharp. The feedback link is already shared in the chat box. I request all participants to fill the feedback. Feedback link will be activated till 8:30 p.m. only. Any questions, please ask me.
Abdul Khadar Jeelani sir, they're asking that any recommended course for cloud computing?
I mean, this AWS Solutions Architect is the one specific course which you can start if you are a fresher. Like if you don't even have much knowledge about this, so you can start. Actually, you should have a basic knowledge of networking. You should know the protocols. Actually, what is HTTP, HTTPS, what is TCP/IP, okay, what are the ports. So you should have a networking knowledge, one thing. After that, you should move for the AWS Solutions Architect. So this is the gateway for the cloud world. Okay, if you can able to go for this course of AWS Solutions Architect, it will be understandable, and After that you have the next levels. Okay, so if you are a beginner, so this is the best course what you can go for, AWS Solutions Architect.
Okay, thank you, Abdul Khadar Jilan. We just wait for a few more minutes for any more questions.
Sure, sure.
Chandrasekhar, there is one question. Actually, there is one question from the guy named Chandrasekhar that I will answer this question actually. Which tools are best for DevOps? Actually, we have a last session on day 5. It's on the DevOps. So once you attend that class, that session, you will get a clear idea about the DevOps and the tools, latest tools that we are using in the current IT industry. I think, sir, Venkat Subbareddy, sir, I think we can conclude the session, I think. There is no more questions from the participants.
There was a very informative session on behalf of G. Bullard Engineering College, Kurnool and the Micro Care Academy. I thanks today's speaker and all participants. There will be one more session on tomorrow on web development. That is Friday evening, 7th March. Thank you, sir. Thank you all participants. Feedback link is already shared in the chat box. I request all participants to fill the feedback. Feedback link will be activated till 8:30 only, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, one and all.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, sir, for this session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.